Welcome, everybody, to Tournament Central. We are here at the International Disc Golf Center in Appling, Georgia, in Wildwood Park. We are right on the grounds of the first PDGA Major of the year at the W.R. Jackson course. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here on the back porch with Nate Perkins. Nate, we got to talk FPO right now. Kristin Tattar, obviously coming in as this week's favorite. And actually, before I talk to you, let's throw it to an interview of Kristin earlier this week.
I haven't been thinking about it a lot. I mean, it happened, and it was just me being weak at one moment. But in general, I think these kind of like moments, they're great teachers, and to see that I was able to go through it, it shows me that I can do anything. So, I mean, I'm just excited to see what this year brings, and I'm not afraid of anything. Even if I fail, maybe that's how it's supposed to go, but I try my best to succeed.
I think the big thing that me and you've talked about in regards to Kristin is just where her psyche is right now. And she mentioned something very special, and that's that last year's whatever debacle it was that people can blame on whatever they want was considered a weakness for her. I think that's a huge deal. I think that showcases her champion's mindset, and it shows that she's going to take personal responsibility no matter what.
Yeah, Brian, I mean, that's huge. It's hard in this game to not feel like the victim. I mean, she three-putt from inside 40 feet. I mean, she hit a root, it rolled out to 33, and she missed that comeback. You could easily look back on that and go, that root, that roll away, like that happened to me. But to see Kristin poised in that interview and just tell the world, you know, I'm not a victim, like I failed and I'm not afraid to fail again. It gives me goosebumps just hearing that interview.
And some of the things that she was also mentioning is just that disc golf in general has a lot of weird things that can happen, and you just have to accept that and move forward, and she's doing that. So obviously, good play aside, she knows what it takes to win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and it takes a very solid mental game.
Yeah, I mean, she is kind of defining what is a good mental game. I mean, she's at the top of her game right now, and we had a chance to see her dice up this course last year. And I think that her skill set also just happens to match up so well with these fairways, Brian. I mean, when I think about someone who throws 330 to 360 on a straight line, Kristin Tattar is someone that comes to mind.
She also said last week at North Cove that she felt like she was on vacation, and she won the tournament by 9 strokes. So to me, when you feel inspired out here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, it's way easier to play well, and obviously that's scary for the rest of the field. Let's transition. Paige Pierce mentioned that she has a shoulder injury and really didn't look like the Paige that we know.
Yeah, I mean, the injury, it's physical, Brian, but more so when I spoke with her, it was kind of putting that seed of doubt in her mind of whether or not she could even throw hard. And what that does to the player is it takes the confidence away. You know, when she feels like if she actually hits a hard line that it's going to be painful, how do you convince yourself to continue to attack these fairways? I mean, you've dealt with that same type of injury yourself, where you said that when you get to that pinnacle of the putt and you know you're going to putt well, that you're actually going to find the pain. I can't imagine what kind of mindset she's really in right now going into the tournament.
Well, let's listen to what Paige had to say earlier in the week.
I'm in pain most shots, not really putting, so that's good. Hopefully I can just get close and make my putts. But yeah, for what it is, it's just like pain in my shoulder and my elbow. It's I had a PT tell me it's like tendonitis in my rotator cuff, and so yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to take some inflammatory like ibuprofen or something like that and try to hope the pain's not there, because when I do feel the pain, it makes me compensate for it and throw different, and that's not going to work out, especially on a wooded course.
I think there's one thing to say, and that's if Paige is choosing to get on the disc golf course, she's going to play her heart out, especially because it's a major. I don't think she even cares if her arm falls off this week. She wants to try her best to take down this major.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it all kind of gives us that feeling of sadness when we hear her. It almost looks like she's in tears in that interview right there, because I think somewhere deep down she kind of knows that she's not going to be 100%. And very few times, Brian, have we been able to say that Paige isn't healthy. I mean, she's a superhuman. I've never even heard of her taking a tournament off because of an injury, so this is new territory for her and just for all the fans of Paige Pierce. So I'm really interested to see what she looks like on the tee of one today.
And you never know when you're playing a course blind or playing new changes blind without any expectations. We've seen this so often on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, players saying, oh, my putt feels worse than it's ever felt. Go on to win a tournament. Oh, my hyzer flips are terrible. Go on to win a tournament. Golf is a wild thing. Disc golf is even more wild because of the flying disc being so unpredictable. So we'll see. I mean, if she can find some sort of solace and some sort of peace while she's traversing the course, I think we could see some good rounds from her.
Yeah. I'm very keen to see if she's able to get the disc up to speed, and if she's going to be grimacing after the throw. Like, we don't know.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back here on Tournament Central.
You know, a lot of people say that Ed was the father of disc golf. Well, that's true. He did invent the basket. But Ed did another wonderful thing, probably his major accomplishment, was being the first person to realize that we had a sport on our hands, not just a toy.
In 1976, Steady Ed Hedrick founded the Professional Disc Golf Association with a dream of turning a flying plastic toy into a global sport. Since then, the PDGA, members, players, event directors, and volunteers have worked to realize that dream. From the very first baskets to courses around the world. And yet, it's only the beginning. We're looking to the horizon with even bigger dreams for tomorrow.
Kyle Klein stepping up for the birdie on 18.
Your Open champion, Gannon Burr.
Another record-setting weekend on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Back-to-back weeks. Winner coming from the chase card. Pretty special stuff. Gannon Burr, Kyle Klein, two young superstars on tour, showing you how to get it done.
There is something so satisfying about playing a disc golf course that visually does justice to the place you are geographically in this country. And this course, in my opinion, truly captures the essence of Georgia. You walk down one's fairway, these towering pine trees just swallow you up instantly. You look around you and this red clay seems to blanket the ground all over. And the two of those combine to form this wonderful earthy fragrance that just lingers with you after the round is over. I love it here. And the disc golf is spectacular. I'm Brian Earhart, and this is W.R. Jackson.
It hits all the senses. The quiet nature feel of it all.
You're in nature for 18 holes, and it's in the middle of the park. There's really not much outside noise. If we just stop for a second and listen, there's nothing except for some chains.
it feels like it's just rooted in history in the sport of disc golf. The people that have really set the groundwork for disc golf, and like their story lives on here.
To see the different colors of green here are magic, and it has a feel to it.
When you get to W.R. Jackson for the first time, or many times after that, you have this like sense of peace of being in the woods. It's just like you're kind of coming back home.
It's a magical place.
I feel like invigorating is like the best word I can think of.
It's good for the soul to be here, to have the wind off the lake, to have it 10-30 rated shots carved out perfectly for you. Doesn't mean you're gonna hit them, but it's there.
I don't know, the course is tough though, so like part of me is excited about the history of the place, but also I know I've got to really like ground myself and be ready to go to battle.
WR asks you to make a lot of choices.
It makes you shape shots every direction.
You can't throw on one angle. You have to be able to be creative with your disc.
There is fear almost on every hole, critically from the tee pad, to pick the tree that you must not hit.
It's mean and it doesn't care about your feelings.
W.R. Jackson definitely demands all different shapes.
This place is demanding from tee to green.
You're going to find unique places. The angles that are being asked of you.
It's a mental battle as well as battling the course.
You could throw a drive in the middle of the fairway and be scrambling.
I love the fact that when you do get off the fairway here, there are little gaps.
You get punished by being off the fairway, but makes it that much more exciting.
It's a mental battle as well as battling the course. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking that goes on wooded courses, and especially here.
I mean, you just have to really be able to imagine the shot before you throw it.
To make sure that you execute over and over again is a skill in itself. So I don't know, it's exciting. I'm excited. It's going to be so much fun.
The stage is set, the course is ready, and the players are primed to fight to take down their first major title of 2023. For Tournament Central, I'm Brian Earhart.
This commercial break, who really does reign supreme in the MPO division? Gannon Buhr, Calvin Heimberg. We'll talk to both of them after this.
An important part of getting a PDGA membership is helping grow the game. Membership dollars are used to bolster competition of all levels, from local C-tiers to majors. Tools like Digital Scorecard and Tournament Manager help events run seamlessly. Your PDGA membership also gives you access to Disc Golf Network coverage for select events and a 50% discount to their full coverage package. Help grow the sport and get started today. Visit pdga.com/join.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
Welcome back to Tournament Central. Brian Earhart joined here by Nate Perkins. Nate, UDisc now ranking Gannon Buhr #1 in the world. What are your thoughts on that ranking?
Well, my thoughts are that Gannon is maturing in front of our eyes on camera every week. I mean, for him to sit in front of that camera, sunglasses on, and to tell us, hey, I don't actually think I'm the world #1. It's going to take more time before I can say I'm the world #1. I was impressed by that answer. I think that it's very close between Gannon and Calvin Heimberg. Who do you think is the world number one?
I don't quite know yet. I have my opinions, but let's just hear from Gannon Burr first and hear what he has to say.
My goal is always to be the best player in the world. I honestly can't say I really agree with the ranking. I'd maybe put myself 2 or 3 right now, and Calvin 1. So, but I'm still working towards to maybe have that really outright number 1, which I think it just takes time, really. So, you know, who knows? Maybe if I just continue to play really good this whole season, get a few more wins, maybe I could be the outright number 1. But, you know, I'd be satisfied with where I'm at right now. And, you know, I'm just looking to keep up what I've had going these past 3-4 weeks. You know, I had a couple third places a couple wins and a third place at MCO. So my game's feeling pretty good. I just want to remain calm, humble, and stay confident on the course.
I don't think what I've done prior to this week really has any impact on what I'm doing this week. I still just have to go out there and, you know, throw as few shots as possible. So everything that's happened so far this year, it doesn't help me do any better at this event. So I just need to be focused on this event and every shot in front of myself. So I think it has shown that I've been very consistent this year, and I've played well. I've done quite a few things well. And hopefully that continues on through this event.
So, Nate, if I were to give you my honest opinion, I'd have to give the nod to Calvin Heimberg. I know UDisc has their world ranking system, and obviously Gannon Burr's had a fantastic season, but worst finish of the year, 4th place for Calvin Heimberg. He's playing phenomenal, and he's showing moments of brilliance even more so than he has in the past. So I have to give it to Calvin, but yes, recency bias. We just saw Gannon take down the Blue Ridge Championships in a dramatic fashion, but man, there are so many good players out there, but my nod definitely goes to Calvin.
Yeah, and I was actually fortunate enough to get a round of practice in this week with Calvin Heimberg, and he actually said it himself that when he gets those eagles flying how he wants them, he said it's basically a cheat code out here. He's throwing the eagle on 12 of the 18 holes. He's got 4 different stabilities of eagle, and no one else is throwing a 7-speed as flat and as far as him. So I think his game actually does set up better than anyone else in the field.
Yeah, and you really don't even have to throw that many sidearms if you don't want to out here. You can play a lot of the holes with that 7-speed backhand, but then you also have to talk, he does have one of the better power sidearms in the game right now. So the scrambling element playing out here at W.R. Jackson definitely lends to Calvin yet again. I know the players are kind of out of scrambling practice because a lot of the courses during the early stretch of the year are roped off. You miss a fairway, you're pretty much out of bounds. So I'm very interested to see who is still fresh in their scrambling bag and who's a little bit rusty.
And I wanted to ask you, Brian, do you think that it's going to be a big adjustment for Gannon? Because the force over backhand with a stable disc, it doesn't seem to play as much out here at WR. So do you feel like he's going to have to make a big adjustment with his release angle?
Here's what I think about Gannon. We always hear him say, oh, I'm the worst hyzer flip thrower in the world. Oh, I think the flex shot is number 1. I think that's the best way to play disc golf. He really looks up to the way Ricky Wysocki plays the game, and I understand that. Mm-hmm. It's very consistent. It's very easy to throw glideless stuff that's just stubborn in nature. But we have to remember, Gannon never lets you into fully what he's thinking about and what he actually thinks about his game. Because you know what? His hyzer flip game out here in the woods is amazing. I refuse to believe that he's a terrible hyzer flip thrower. And he also says this is one of his favorite courses in the world.
So we've talked Heimberg, we've talked Burr. Who are the next 2 names that you feel like we have to bring up? I mean, for me, it's Paul McBeth. I mean, 17 majors. The rest of the field combined, Brian, just has 18 majors. Unbelievable statistic. We've got to bring his name up. We haven't really talked about him a lot this year. Who else were you going to throw in the hat there?
There's so many good players this week. I mean, we could take a look at some of the wooded specialists even. You could see someone like an Andrew Fish come up and shoot incredible golf out here. There's just so many people that are from wooded areas that call themselves wood specialists, and I always say that the woods is the great equalizer. I mean, you have to scramble. You're not going to get away with clean golf throughout the entire weekend. So if you're asking me to pick one player, Bradley Williams continuing his momentum from last week. I mean, he looked incredible off the tee, but really, we'll jump back to the FPO as they are teeing off soon. But after this commercial break, we're going to talk Valerie Monduhano.
On the surface, Ledgestone is one of disc golf's leading retailers. But look a little closer and you'll find a group of motivated individuals providing the best possible service to the disc golf community. So whether you're building a bag, wanting to support your favorite pro, or looking to add to your disc golf wardrobe, choose Ledgestone.
All of us at Bushnell are excited to be here for the Champions Cup and very proud to have been a part of this since day one. We want to say thank you to the players and the fans for supporting the event and joining with us to push the sport forward.
My favorite flavor of Double G Craft Jerky, easy choice, the teriyaki. I love my sweet and I love my salty food. It's a great combination of both.
Got to go for the hot boom sauce to give you that extra kick.
Probably going to surprise a lot of you guys. My favorite flavor is actually the Sexy Sweet and Spicy. I find it to be one of the best jerkies I've ever had.
Welcome back to Tournament Central. Brian Earhart here with Nate Perkins. Just got word yet again, Valerie Monduhano, intentions to play the major, couldn't quite make it work, out again with the ankle injury. Talk about that. It's just miserable to have to listen to someone deal with such a nasty injury and miss so many good tournaments to start the year.
Well, it's heartbreaking, and it even more so when you have intentions to play. You travel all the way here, you get some practice in, you think you feel good, and then right up until you're about to tee, you have to make that tough call and say, I can't play the biggest tournament of the year so far. Heartbreaking, Brian.
Yeah, I feel for her, but again, she's young. She has a lot of disc golf ahead of her. Hopefully she doesn't feel like she's missing out or falling behind the field, because she showed us last year that she is way ahead of the field in so many different categories. So if she just keeps the rest of herself healthy and makes sure that she still maybe can get some reps on the putting green or whatever she can get away with this ankle injury, I think she should be just fine. So let's actually jump ahead to this feature card. Let's talk about Haley King coming out here. Major champion last year, talking about W.R. Jackson as one of her favorite courses. What do you think her chances are like out here?
Well, we haven't seen a lot from her this year, Brian. What we have seen from her is that she does look a little bit more relaxed out on the course. She seems healthy, which is good. We haven't heard any injury talk from her. I know that she's dealt with some injuries in the past. This course does set up really well for her game. And honestly, I would love to see Haley King make a push. It's been a long time. I think the fans are waiting to see something from her as well.
I agree. And she mentioned that she's been working on her fitness. She's been working on her durability as an athlete, her strength. And she said she's getting stronger to the point where her throw feels different, and she's having to adjust around feeling stronger, which, you know what? She's still young as well. She still has growing to do, especially as an athlete. So really, we could see anything from her. If she taps into that release point, she could play fantastic this week. Obviously, her putt is one of the best in the FPO division still. Let's also take a look. Sarah Hokum, third place last year at Champions Cup, won Hall of Fame Classic in 2019. She loves this property, and it sounds like her game plan is pretty simple out here as well.
Yeah, she's a player that isn't really going to miss too many gaps all weekend long. And when you're talking about a total overall under par score of 10 under won it last year, I think Sarah can rack up enough birdies to put pressure on Kristen to birdie as well, because she's just not going to take big numbers out here. She's so good with those sidearm angles, and she's so good at landing the disc flat and where she wants it. I think Sarah Holcomb is definitely going to be a part of the equation this weekend.
I think she's going to be one of the high fairway hits leaders this weekend. She also mentioned in the press conference she's going to try to throw the exact same shot, exact same disc as many times as possible. And as boring as that may feel, winning feels pretty good. After this break, we'll be right back with more FPO action.
Show up, stay a while.
Join the Paul Macbeth Foundation's Builders Club to help bring sustainable disc golf experiences to people and communities around the world. For a small monthly donation, you can help us make a real impact. Your donation will go directly to making a difference. By becoming a monthly subscriber, you'll also receive exclusive updates on our work, special offers, and discounts. So join us today and make a difference with the Paul Macbeth Foundation. Together we can make a big impact, one small donation at a time.
And welcome back to Tournament Central. Looking at the leaderboard, Holland Hanley, Ella Hansen already under par with Silva Saarinen. I want to jump to Holland and Ella together because it seems like they came on the scene right at the same time with a completely different attitude and perspective on the sport of disc golf.
Well, those are two names that they're actually pushing the limits of what's possible for an FPO player. I mean, Ella is closing in on a world record. She's going to attempt that later this summer. Can't wait to see that go down. She threw 550 last year. Holland is the furthest forehand player in the FPO field now. They're both kind of redefining what is necessary to be able to compete, and when they start to clean things up, they're going to be competing for Elite Series and majors every single time. So to see Holland 2 under on the front nine, it's pretty scary, Brian.
It's pretty scary, but it's also not surprising with how hard both of these two players work and how they treat the game just like they treated their previous sports in powerlifting and ultimate. With that said, Tournament Central is wrapping up. We have so much more disc golf action ahead, and the lead card is about to tee off here on the Disc Golf Network.